Hi everyone, my name is Dawn Brolin. I'm a certified public accountant, certified fraud examiner, the president of Powerful Accounting Inc., and the author of the Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals. I'm here today to talk to you about Canopy. Canopy is an awesome tool if you are doing tax returns or tax representation, either way. What it allows you to do is pull transcripts from the IRS. They have an integration certified by the IRS to pull transcripts. What I love about it is I log in one time. I connect my e-services account and I can go into Canopy and pull transcripts. I don't have to continue to log into the e-services, put in my password, get my code, and get in and finally just get through e-services. It's so cumbersome. So I use Canopy. It's that one-time connection. Let me give you a couple tips. Number one, I like to pull transcripts for some of my clients who make estimated tax payments. Maybe they don't provide me a copy of the estimated tax payment. I want to make sure I know the correct dates of those estimated payments, okay? So I will go into Canopy, pull an account transcript for my client, and be able to see what dates they made their estimated payments. Just solves for a lot of problems. There's no notices. Maybe I thought they did $4,000 or $5,000 estimated payments when really they only did 3. They told me they did 4, they only did 3. A notice comes in because they didn't pay enough in tax, and now they're saying you did the tax return wrong. That happens all the time. So to eliminate that pain of that process and that, customer integration or customer experience, right? We want to eliminate notices at all costs. So that's one really key thing. The second one is when you're not sure if the client's given you all of their documents. Maybe there's a 1099-R that they had from the year before, and for whatever reason they don't think they can find it. I can pull a wage and income transcript, pull down all that information. So at least I have the federal information on that 1099 if it's applicable, if they received one for that year. And it eliminates, again, the whole concept of notices. So I find it really important as I'm preparing tax returns to have this tool in place. And so I love using it. So as a tax preparer, those are a couple of tips how you can use Canopy in your practice. Thanks for listening. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the DM Disruption, where we're here not just to talk about motivation, but actually turn it into action. And there's a guest on with us today, Kathy Grosskurth. And Grosskurth, sorry, I never say it right. I don't know why. But Kathy actually hasn't been around the industry for a long, long time, but her impact goes beyond the years that she's been working in the accounting industry. She's a great friend, great people. She does a lot of training and teaching other people, giving back. If you've seen her on social media, if you've been on social media. So Kathy, welcome to the show today. I'm so excited to just have a conversation with you. How's everything going?
Everything's going pretty good, Dawn, and I am glad to be here today. So yeah, it's been weird, but it's been good.
It's been, it has been weird last couple of years, which is part of the reason why I wrote the book, Designated Motivator, just some experience that I had. And then, the book for the Designated Motivator for Accounting Professionals is going to be out by Scaling New Heights. The pre-orders will be Scaling New Heights, but it's up. It's almost done on Amazon, ready to go. Because I, like you, we are trying to positively impact the accounting industry in whatever way we can. And you are definitely doing that because I'm out there watching social media. I participate, but I also watch what other people are doing. And you're doing great and amazing things. You're always positive. You're always lifting people up. And when you get involved in a conversation, you make that conversation better. So I want to thank you for that. I've, just really enjoyed getting to know you as much as I have been. It seems like just a little eeny-weeny little bit, which is why today we're going to talk about you and your story, Kathy.
Well, first of all, Dawn, I want to thank you so much. And hearing that from you is just really one of the biggest compliments I could get, because sometimes, you don't really know how you've impacted someone's life. And then sometimes you might get some verification in a thank you email, or somebody will post a compliment on a YouTube video I posted. So yeah, I appreciate it.
You've been great. And so Kathy, I want the listeners know you again, as you're out there currently now in the social media, helping everybody out, but you didn't start there. You started and you worked at a different job, and I don't know that history. And then about 5 years ago, you said, you know what, I'm taking the bull by the horns and I'm doing what I want to do, which is be in business for myself and go out and do that. So tell us the story about Kathy and how did we so luckily get you in our industry?
Well, it actually started way before that, but I'll fast forward 5 years
Oh, you
because
could go
I've
as
been
all
okay.
you. This is all you, sister. This is all
Okay.
you.
Okay. Well, I had actually been working in the field uh, off and on since about 2005, and I was doing it very part time. I was working it around, my kids being at home and
Mhm.
being a stay at home mom and doing this a lot. I was working from home before it was even a thing, pretty much. So,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Cool.
fast forward to about 2012, and that's when I decided to freelance mostly because I was working for other people. As an employee, I also volunteered in the nonprofit area, and so I started accumulating my own clients and stuff. And
Mm.
then at about 2015 or so, I kind of knew I wanted to do the training thing because that's been kind of my background. I was certified in Microsoft Office and I taught through continuing education, Microsoft Office, mostly Word and Excel and PowerPoint and stuff. So I knew I wanted to go that route. And
Okay.
so around 2016, I was able to snag two tickets, one for QB Connect and one for scaling that I got for pretty cheap. And at that point, it was quite a bit of money that I outlaid for those, even though they were severely reduced tickets. But I saw
Sure.
it as an investment because I knew just from being on Facebook, I had started joining a lot of accounting groups on Facebook, and some folks from Intuit had even reached out to me. Mindy King was one of the first
Oh.
ones, and Allison Ball as well. And so I felt
Yep.
like I was meeting people, through these groups and trying to answer questions and stuff like that. So trying to be helpful. And
Sure.
so I decided that I wanted to go to scaling and meet some of these people that I was just corresponding with online.
Sure.
And I didn't know what to expect. I was thinking, man, I would hate to go to this place and feel like a third wheel that nobody would care or anything like
Oh.
that. But I went to that meeting in Orlando. I actually drove there because I live in Atlanta. It's not that far. It's only about 6.5 hours,
Sure.
to drive down there. All by myself, drove down there. One of the first people I saw was Hector. Of course, I didn't say anything to him because at that point he was checking in and all that. But as the week went on, I got enough courage to meet him, meet Michelle Long, and a few other people. Mindy actually saw me and ran up and got a selfie with
Oh.
me. And it was just incredible. And so many other people that I met as well. I mean, just so many people, even locally around here that I didn't know. And around that same time, I was thinking, I wanted to be a part of a larger community, but we didn't really have anything local here. We actually, well, let me back that up. We had a Woodard group that met, but they were kind of dormant, but they were like on the eastern side of the town, like where I'm on the
Hmm.
western side of the town.
Yes,
And
and
so,
Atlanta is big,
yeah,
so
it is. I mean,
we.
you could probably have a group for every quadrant or even in the middle of the
Yes.
city. So I
Yes.
was trying to figure out if I wanted to try to make that group work but after a while, and I had also met another lady from Woodstock and we were talking about starting our own group. And I don't know what happened with that, but I just decided, well, you know what? I'm just going to take the bull by the horns and I'm going to see if there's interest in this. So when I
Sure.
got back from scaling, I mean, I was so motivated. I decided to go ahead and reach out to everybody in our local area through the ProAdvisor website and started connecting with people that way and also through some of the Facebook groups as well. And so
Right.
in January of 2018, we launched our first, it was actually an online meeting because we knew we were in the middle of tax season or
Sure.
started tax season, didn't think we would get a whole lot of people. But at that first meeting, we had like maybe 5 or 6 people and we had our
Oh
first
wow.
in-person meeting. Yeah. So we
That's
had
a
our first,
lot.
yeah. So we had our first in-person meeting in March of 2018. Had about,
Okay.
I think about 8 or so individuals show up. And then we started to get a few regulars that came. And of course, not everybody came to every meeting.
Sure.
And so after a while, we were averaging probably about 10 people or so over that
That's
first
good.
couple of years. Not too bad. I mean,
Yeah.
and we met every month. We had a set meeting. We met on the fourth Thursday of the month. We created a Facebook group, which we've got quite a few people on there now, probably about 213 people. The pandemic hit, and we were already talking about changing meeting locations, and because we wanted to try to, because we knew that other group wasn't meeting at very much, and we wanted to try to, try to incorporate some of them, not to take over, but to kind of get them kind of going back again. So anyway, then we had decided on a location, and we had decided, we were not going to start meeting back up until March anyway, because usually the first couple meetings of the year, we know people are doing taxes. They're not going to come out.
Right.
So then the pandemic hit. And so I had, and then I had another situation where my co-leader, we didn't see eye to eye on how we were going to handle that. So she
Sure.
and I ended up parting ways.
Sure.
And so I just basically, and I had an assistant that's helped me kind of keep everything on track. So we continue to meet, but we use Zoom. And
Okay.
not
Yeah.
only that, we started, and in the last couple of years at scaling, I actually started speaking. Like 2019 was the first year that I actually spoke. I did
Right.
one workshop there, and then last year I did two, and this year I'm doing two. But anyway, from that, I told people about our group. I said, I don't I don't care if you're from Atlanta or not. You can
Mhm.
be a part of our group. You can be a virtual part of our group, and we would love to have you participate, because there's a lot of places in the United States that do not have a group. But
Yeah.
our group that ended up being a foreshadowing of what happened when the pandemic hit. We had basically had to move everything online. So
Mhm.
ever since December of 2019, that was our last in-person meeting.
Yep.
Ever since then, January to present date, we've been doing everything on Zoom. And we've had people from all over the U.S. participate, but we've also grown with some local people as well that I've still not met in person. Some of them I'll be seeing for the
Wow.
first time when we go to Fort Worth. But
Mhm.
we're in the process of trying to determine a meeting location, and it's going to be somewhere around the perimeter, probably the top end of the perimeter, because I figured some of the folks, if they planned it out, then they should have no problem getting there. But we're going to do like a hybrid thing. And the
Cool.
one thing that I found out, and speaking to Joe earlier this summer, because I was telling him my idea, and
Mhm.
that I wanted our group to be kind of a virtual group, to kind of be a catch-all for other people. But he
Sure.
had told me that some of the other local groups had decided that they were going to go on hiatus, and I didn't know that. I mean,
Oh.
that was one of the craziest things I'd ever heard of. If it
Hmm.
wasn't for our group, I don't think I would have been able to uh, have my head intact,
Sure.
and I still feel like that in the last few months and everything. um, I think this pandemic has hit me worse than I thought, because I had
Sure.
some personal things that I was dealing with, and my husband was having some personal issues. But I mean,
Mm.
it kind of hit me that everything is different. It's still different. I guess a lot of it was thinking that we were going to try to come out of it a lot sooner. So that group has
Right.
really been a lifeline for me. It's been one where not only have I been able to reach out to them, but they've been loving on me as well. So I
Sure.
am so glad that we were able to keep it up. And so,
Yeah.
when we went to Orlando, I went in Orlando last year, and it was a very scaled down scaling.
Right.
So,
Mhm.
and that was weird, not having all those numbers of people there. But in a way, it was kind
Right.
of good too, because it allowed us to do what we needed to do. Joe was very good about the social distancing thing and all
Sure.
that. So that was good. But I was thinking, we've rounded this corner. We're gonna get this vaccine. Everybody's gonna be up. I figured by now we would be, business as usual. No, it hasn't happened quite to the extent that I wanted, but we still
Right.
kept on doing our meetings and everything. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And if nothing else, I just want to share is that, even in the midst of, you know, me going through some of the stuff that I've gone through, I've tried to
Yeah.
always be a positive, because I used to be one of those negative people, and I don't want to go back to that. And if I
Right.
didn't have that group, if I didn't have that support, then I
Sure.
could have very easily have gone back and gone back into a negative frame of mind. But
Yeah.
just being a part of something bigger than myself is
Mm.
really helped me, and I think it's helped all those other people. So
Well, I think
it's
you'd be surprised, Kathy, honestly, right? Would be surprised at how much like doing something you love, which is being part of a group like that, which you're right, without that lifeline and having those connections with people to be able to keep you up. And that was one of my biggest concerns over the last 4 or 5 months, and why I wanted to write this book to help the accounting professionals kind of reconnect to their why, right? And I'm doing a session at Scaling too called Reassess Your Success. And really it's about, let's get back to why we love what we do. Let's get back to the clients that we love, the clients we don't love, and the services we provide,
right,
and all these things to kind of rein it back in to say, okay, I can redefine if I feel like I've kind of fallen off the car, off the rails a little bit. Let's get you back on the rails and back on track to where you were going. I'll say pre-COVID, because I agree with you. I think there's a lot of, it's just different now than it ever was before, for obvious reasons. And I feel, and it's definitely important for people like you who are out there being positive, encouraging people. There's a lot of people in pain. You can just read social media, you can see pretty quick who kind of maybe had a little bit of a dip here and there, and having dips are okay. That's probably one of the biggest messages, right, Kathy? I
right,
mean,
right.
life doesn't just, it's not this beautiful journey of perfectness and positivity. We run into hurdles, and those that the thing, and I do believe things that don't kill you make you stronger. I do believe in that. And we have to fight through them, but isn't it so much better to fight through it with people,
It most
right?
certainly is. It most certainly is. And if I didn't have those people in my corner, then I don't think I would have been able to make it this far. And also, incidentally, I'm doing um, uh, like a revisiting of my networking workshop. I did that in 2019, but
Okay.
on this one, I'm going to be focusing more on, what's happened since the pandemic. And I'm planning on getting real, even though I'm going to kind of go over some of those main concepts again. I'm going to kind of go over those pretty quickly because I want this workshop to be one where we talk about, some of the things that we're feeling, and I'm going to be real with people. So it's going to be like, what's in Vegas stays in Vegas, or
Yes.
what's in Fort Worth stays in Fort Worth, because I want to have everybody that attends that to have the opportunity to be able to share in a safe space, because we need that. I think we need that so much
Yeah.
more now, because we've done that in quite a few of our Zoom meetings, and we've talked about it. I've even talked about the fact that I ended up having to go see a counselor because of
Hmm.
some of the stuff that I'm having to deal with, and there's nothing wrong
Sure.
with that. And one of the things,
Nope.
and just incidentally, it is National Mental Health Awareness Month. So that's something we need to
Okay.
be reminding people that,
Yes.
there, like you said, there's no shame in needing help, and that's something, if nothing else, if people need help, there's people out there that you can reach out to. So that's
Hmm.
something we need to remember to remind people of. But
Yeah.
also, being on social media, you want to try to not be so negative that people turn you out. But
Right.
I've always been a glass half full kind of person. I
Sure.
try to always see the light, the brighter side of things, even though sometimes I probably shouldn't. But that's just my nature. I try to be more looking at the positive out of something if I can. I always try to do.
Right. Absolutely. So Kathy, tell me what what happened, and when was that moment where you were like, okay, I want to do this. I want to be an accountant. I want to be able to teach and train. And I know that's something that is something you naturally you love to do, that kind of thing. But was there a moment, or like even when you were younger, where you were like, yeah, I really like this accounting thing? Obviously, software, you were into software, which thankfully, right? I was talking to someone a couple weeks ago, and they were telling me how they did like a lot of I'll just say older people, who didn't really know how to use the computer, how to use Zoom. And this was pre-COVID. And they were, doing like you were doing with Microsoft. They were
Yeah.
teaching more of the how to get online and how to do certain things. And boy, what a blessing that was to people, because they helped teach them. Then they were able to spend time through Zoom with their family, whether it's the holidays and these things that if they hadn't taken that class or whatever, they wouldn't have been able to do that. But was there this moment of in time, and maybe there wasn't, where you were like, man, this is just what I love to do, and I'm just going to go for it? Was that
Well,
like when you were in the Microsoft thing, or what was it?
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that because after I graduated high school, I went to a 2-year class on junior accounting, and that's where I learned, all the bases of accounting. Of course, back then we won't say how far long ago it was, but that was when we were learning on spreadsheets, worksheets, and all that kind
Hmm.
of thing to learn the debits and credits, and we did in the 10-column worksheet and all
Loved
that.
that.
So
So
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. But that education was so crucial in understanding it, and I could go off on a segue about how we need that today, but I don't want to digress in that. But
I agree with you, but go
yeah,
ahead.
but fast forward to probably around the time when I was at home with my kids, and I was doing some work. I was doing some admin work, and then I was active in my community, volunteering with nonprofits and stuff. We have a local food bank over here that I would work with and stuff like that. And I was also on the board of directors for a community organization. And somehow I actually got pulled back into this accounting thing because we had back in 2005. It was right before Katrina hit.
Okay.
We had Hurricane Dennis came through and dumped record rains in this area. We had like
Oh,
maybe 13 inches of rain in this area
goodness.
in like a 2-day period, which is quite a lot
Wow.
of rain. And
Hmm.
so that happened like 2 or 3 months before Katrina did. So we had a lot of people displaced, a lot of homes that had the really bad damage and stuff like that. So they had a group of people who started a disaster recovery group, and I was the treasurer for that group.
Okay.
And I had and I had just gotten a copy of QuickBooks. It was the 2004 version, like the accountant's version. I wasn't
Hmm.
even a provisor at that point, but they needed something to track that. And so I started using it, and I basically self-taught, and I really liked it because I was able to go in and do the job costing, because we would have different properties that we would
Okay.
have to keep track of, the money that they receive for certain jobs that they would do and stuff like that. So
Sure.
that was where I got back into it. So all those years ago, I took all that training. And then, when I got back into it all those years later, all that training kind of kicked in, and it was almost, of course I had to review some of those concepts, but it was like, it was kind of like a 180 or 360. I went back into what I had originally went to school for and kind
Right.
of out of it. So that was,
I
and
love that. I have to say, you are spot on. I don't, I'm teaching at I didn't this semester, and I probably won't next semester, but I've been doing some adjunct teaching I call it crayon accounting, as accounting 101, right? Or 201 or something. And yeah, we're teaching them debits and credits, and we're trying to teach them. One of the ways I was trying to help teach them was, I did all the T accounts. Here's how you're going to do this. See how this has to match that, and give them a trial balance. But I'm telling you right now, and it was all in the textbook, right? But if I was to write that course myself, it would be exactly what you're saying, and I would have them actually using ledgers, hand ledgers that they would be filling in and writing out, not in Excel, but literally handwriting and doing the homework on paper, because that's how we really learned how
mm-hmm,
everything ties out. And it's
right.
the computer makes it way too easy. And I think that, I've had young staff, I have young staff who are coming, in master's programs and all this. And it's like it's almost like, are they really getting the idea of exactly how this is supposed to all tie out? And I think that might be where the education system needs to be kind of like put into check to say, hey, get those spreadsheets back out here. Boy, did they teach us how to balance everything out, right?
Right, right. And that's one of the things that I saw as being a big hole in some of our training. And I saw that Intuit was trying to do that. But even before Intuit came up with their little thing, I have like a six session course that I've developed based on, and I used a college textbook to kind of an abbreviated version just to kind of give you what you need and then try to equate it to using QuickBooks. And I found that it's really helped a lot of people, because a lot of people start in on this without a single clue as to the accounting in the background. And that's what we've got to do a better job of, is teaching the people the basics.
Yes, 100%. And so in saying that, where can people, because so you actually have that course and it's up online, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes. And they can go to my webpage and they can see, because I offer it in two versions. I can do the individualized instruction, and then I also have like the videos that I can do, but it comes with all the handouts and everything like that.
So we're definitely, that'll be at the bottom of the podcast. So you should see it down at the bottom, so we can promote that for you, Kathy, because I agree with you. I think we need to help people help wherever they are. I always tell people, listen, I meet my clients where they are. It's okay to meet a new bookkeeper, a new accounting professional, whatever you want to call them, where they are. And if they haven't had that foundation, that, they picked up QuickBooks and kind of learned self-taught and did that, and that's great. But maybe they just need that real good basic knowledge of the accounting systems before they let QuickBooks do it for them. And we definitely, where I see this a lot, you probably do too, is when I look at P&Ls and balance sheets and people have, I've reconciled everything. Okay, well, why do you have negative numbers on your P&L? Unless it's a sales returns and allowance or a contra account, which I'm fine with contra accounts, but not realizing when it's like, if you're not recording it properly, you're not reporting it properly. And it's so important for us to keep our eye on that. And so we definitely want to promote whatever it is that you have out there to offer people, because people need it.
Well, I appreciate it. And one of the things that I've realized that some people are reaching out to me too is that they have teams of bookkeepers that they want to enhance their skills. In fact, I work with Liz Scott's group, a couple of bookkeepers this summer, teaching them that very same course.
Yes.
And she said that, based on that course, they had a lot of questions that they were asking internally and are moving in the right direction that they need to move on. So it's a really ideal course for, accounting teams and stuff like that.
Right. And we definitely want to promote that. But so we always try to keep this 20, 25 minutes. Kathy, you have been awesome. Like, this was a really fun conversation with you. I definitely learned some about, a little bit of your background, which is exciting and fun. But I do still, like I said in the beginning, I really do appreciate you. Just watching you over the last 5 years or so and watch you grow and just that what you give back is what just warms my heart, because you do that and you do it with no strings attached, and you can tell you do it because you're passionate about it. And so thank you from my perspective of what you have done for people and will continue to do. And I will be almost guarantee you, when you go to Scaling New Heights, somebody's going to come up to you and be like, Kathy, I just appreciate you for what you're doing, what you've done, and what you're going to continue to do. So I want to be the first person to thank you. So that's what I want to do.
Well, thank you. And I don't know if you remember this or not. You had given me this car at one of the QB Connects. So when you did your little round table thing, and I still have that. I have it sitting right here, and it reminds me. It reminds me of you and reminds me of the encouragement that not you only gave me, but everybody in that room.
Well, I appreciate that. And listen, that's what we're all here for. And I'm proud of you. And I'm looking forward to seeing things. If I get a chance to pop into your session, I will. And so, but I just can't wait to see it scaling. And I just want to thank you for your time. You're just our giver. And I just appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. So, and everybody, thank you for listening. It's been a great episode. Kathy's just on fire, crushing it. Check out her course. Go check out her website. If you have staff that are struggling with the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of accounting and really need some foundational work, Kathy's your girl. She does a great job. She's always free to give. So thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next time on the Designated Motivator, the DM Disruption. We are here to help, motivate, give you as much positivity as we can. And we wish you the best, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you.